What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the All That Podcast. Today, I have yet another returning guest. M-
Hello.
She didn't even let me introduce her before she wanted decided to start talking.
That's what I do.
Andrea, what's up, Andrea?
Hi.
Okay, so me and Andrea and I, were having a conversation. How long ago was it?
It was a while ago.
Might
It
have
was like a month or
month or
two,
two or three
two,
or something like that.
2 months ago.
Yeah. So something happened with Khloe Kardashian. I'm gonna let you give the background on that.
All right. So,
Hmm.
um, I feel like I should talk about myself first. I don't know. I just feel like if people don't remember who I am,
Okay,
just
let's
like
backtrack, guys.
so
Hold
that they
on.
know why I'm relevant in the
Hold
conversation.
on, guys. Yeah, I mean,
You
I was gonna
know?
get to that, but since she
Okay.
wants to lead my show, I'm
Okay.
playing.
Sorry.
No, okay. Andrea is a model,
Right.
successful model,
Oh, thank
uh,
you.
um, get the bag model,
Mhm.
traveling model, up in
Period.
the music videos
All the
model, on
above.
the runaways model.
Mm.
Did that good? Is that good?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, perfect. Well, hello guys.
So yeah.
So anyways, basically, Khloe Kardashian, what happened with her was essentially her grandma took a picture of her and uploaded it to social media,
Hmm.
just a loving grandma trying to post a picture of her granddaughter.
Hmm.
And this picture was unfiltered, unedited. It was raw. It was her body and her real self, no makeup, no filters. And the Kardashian family went absolutely insane over it. Kris Jenner did everything and anything she could to try to get this image off of the internet. And it became this whole controversial topic on body image, confidence, the whole image that the Kardashians have created. And it just like became like a huge topic a couple months ago.
Right. So I'm not sure if you posted something on Instagram or you called me, but either way, we ended up on the phone, and this is how we decided to come do this show about how social media and all of that uh, pushes or influences this our
Our
self-esteem,
lives.
in our
Yes,
lives and our life.
literally.
Yeah, but specifically for this topic, how people feel about themselves, right?
Right.
How we've kind of became a comparative society, and
Mm-hmm.
how we look at these things or look at these people who may or may not be presenting something that's authentic,
Right.
and then we judge our real selves based off
Based
of
off of that.
them, and then but that's a false reality. So when that Khloe Kardashian thing happened, what was running through your mind?
I had a lot of feelings towards it, and we've discussed this before,
Mm-hmm.
but I've had a lot of feelings towards it, to be honest, because number one, being a model, and number two, being just a woman. A lot of the things that happened and were said were kind of offensive.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that she kind of took this image of herself that was like a real person and completely bashed it. Like
Mm-hmm.
she just pretty much shit. Can I curse?
You
She
can.
pretty much just shit on
You can
herself.
do all that.
Okay, amazing. I couldn't remember, but she pretty much
Yeah.
shit on her own image
Yeah.
of who she really is, raw, unfiltered, to kind of say that's not who I am. That's not what I really look like. That's not what I am. So
Mm.
after the image went viral and they tried to get it off the internet, all this other stuff.
And by the way, you don't think that she looked bad
I don't think that
in
she
that
looked
picture?
bad in the picture.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of women who would want to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her body looked amazing. She is like, I mean, for her age and she's had kids, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have to realize like as you age, you're not going to look like you did when you were 15, you
Right.
know? And so basically the family went crazy, tried to get the image off the internet. And then she went on social media, like, I think it was the day after, a couple days after,
Mm-hmm.
and did an Instagram live where she pretty much, in my opinion, made a fool out of herself, trying to show the world what she really looked like, what she quote unquote really looked like.
Right.
Um, showing off her body from good angles with clothing that looked good on her. And she's like, this is what I really look like unedited. Like, there is no edit, there's no filter, like just doing a lot. And it was like, there was no need to do that,
Right.
because first of all, there was nothing wrong with the first picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there are a lot of women who want to look like that and a lot of women who look like that already. So when you sit here and you go on social media and you say, this normal person, oh, hell no, that's not what I look like. I look like this. You know what I mean? Like, and just completely tear down your own image to bring in this image that everyone of you knows of you, right? So I really didn't like it because point number one is that, like I said, there are women who look like that, and that's offensive. That you would sit here and say, oh, there are all these women, who look like this. Oh, hell no, I don't look like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's offensive to somebody that looks like that or would want to look like that.
It's ironic that Chloe is affected by the beauty standards that her family set,
put into place,
and that's wild. And I'm not trying to put this all on them, but it's the cultural what's the word I'm looking for? The cultural acceptance or the cultural standards that the culture set around them. Yeah, and it's like that's her family. Yeah. And she's suffering from it in that family. Right. And it's like, if you listen to her speak, she's very transparent in this way, saying that, she is insecure. She suffers with that. If you look at, before, when they were younger, people
Chloe was always the biggest one.
She was the biggest one.
And that's why
will pick on her weight, and, they'll say she don't look like Kim or Courtney.
Yeah. And that's so mind-blowing because it's like, you want to talk about how you struggled with, being the bigger one and you've been insecure and all this stuff. But then you go on social media and you pretty much just shit on the image of a regular normal woman. Not even regular, because she looks really good in that picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, on a pic, you're bashing the image of a woman that looks good. Yeah. Like, what you just did is what people did to you. Indirectly. Yeah. But you did it. And then it was also my whole thing. I'm also, besides being a model, I'm a pageant coach. A lot of people don't know that. I haven't been doing it for a little bit.
Sorry, I left that out the resume.
You're good. But I'm also a pageant coach, and I teach a lot of young girls. And one thing that's really important for me when I'm teaching them is, like, making sure that everything that we're doing comes out of self-love, and that we know, like, to love ourselves first. And, that's the only way anyone can really learn and grow from anything, is from a place of, like, doing it for themselves. I didn't like that she could have took that moment of, this viral situation and craziness, and she could have took that and said, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's what I look like. Yeah, I'm a real woman. Yeah, I had a kid. Yeah, I got stretch marks. I got cellulite. Yeah, that's what a real woman looks like. Right. She could have took that, made it empowering, owned up to it, and said, yeah, that's me on a regular day. Right. Because as a model, I know that when I put out a picture from a photo shoot or something for a big designer, like, it's got to look perfect. But
okay, let me stop you there. So as a model and somebody who your livelihood is so dependent in a way off of how you present yourself on social media. So as a model, not as a woman, as a model, can you sympathize with her when it comes to maybe she was rushing to kind of doctor up or because to these companies, they're used to seeing Chloe look like we usually see her on social media. But when that picture came out to her, even though maybe to us it didn't look, bad, but to her she was like, okay, this is not what I've been presenting, which could possibly hurt my dollars.
It's understandable. It's a valid point. Because it's everything we do. When you're a model, it's like and we talk about this all the time. I have production I talk with all the time, and they do classes. I go and I talk to the girls sometimes. If I have my hair long today and I came to this casting and my hair is long and I come to the production tomorrow with my hair short, they might tell me, we don't need you here anymore. Yeah. Because you look different. You're not what you presented to us. Right. And it happens with Instagram girls too. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll look at them, the pictures look edited, they look bomb, and then they show up and they're like, sorry, you don't look like how we thought you looked. Right?
Yeah.
So it's valid, it's understandable, but for a person like the Kardashians who have set the standards pretty much, because
you feel like they can reset.
I feel like you have no excuse.
Yeah.
I feel like, there are so many influencers and women that make it their thing every day to talk about female empowerment and talk about how important it is, love yourself, all that stuff. Why can't they do that? Why is it so hard to present yourself in a vulnerable light? You know what I mean? Like, people like that. It's not because you're going to lose money. There's just this obsession that they have with perfection, with being perfect.
Right.
And I'm telling you, like, as a model, I know that when I'm working for somebody and I'm essentially creating art, like, it needs to look perfect. When the Renaissance men were painting their paintings, they wanted them to be perfect. It's art. So, of course, there are certain points where, things have to be, like, presented as perfect as they can be. But when it comes to social media, it's like, we're only showing the best of our lives in social media.
The highlights.
Right, the highlights. We're not showing what really goes on behind the scenes. And I try to make it a point for myself to do that sometimes. Like, I'll go on my Instagram stories and I'll talk about when I was in Miami for Miami Swim Week. I posted on there. I was like, I'm not going to lie. Today is like my second or third day here and I'm feeling so discouraged. And I received so many messages from people being encouraging, telling me, like, you got this, you can do it, all this stuff. But it's like, people don't know that that's the reality of it because we don't show that. Why? You know what I mean? It can be so helpful to other people. It shows, the real side of everything. It's like, and then it's like, other people that are going to come here and do the same thing, they can be prepared now because it's like, it's not going to be easy, girl. You know what I mean? But I don't know. The Kardashians, they have kind of created this whole lifestyle image that everyone wants, everyone is after. It's not just the image as far as like a body image. It's the lifestyle, the vacations, the money, the luxury. Everything has kind of been tied up together to be one thing. And everyone looks at that and they think success and they think happiness and they think perfect. But it's clearly not, because Khloe's clearly not happy with herself.
Right.
Or at least she wasn't at that point. You know what I mean? So it's a little difficult being like a model, because it's like, you understand their point of view, but you also have to be a person. Like, I tell girls all the time whenever they're modeling, like, you need to be super confident, like, you're the best of the best when you're like on a runway or at a shoot, but when you come off of it, like, you need to be yourself and be humble. And it's, your looks can only take you so far.
Right.
You have to have a personality, be a good person, be kind, be someone that people want to work with, or you're not going to get anywhere.
For sure. I don't want to seem like, when we say, or at least me, when we talk about the Kardashians, we're not speaking about them personally per se.
Yeah.
It's just what people have linked with them.
Exactly.
Because I do want.
I told you I love Khyrie. Like, I think Kylie's so cute. Everything she does, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's really nothing against them, and they're human.
Right. And you have to give them credit for this. They are very transparent on their show.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's how you hear Khloe talk about her insecurities, or I think Kylie might have talked about her, why she ended up getting, her lips done.
Yeah.
Or, I think, because they are very transparent in that way. So when we talk about them, it's not necessarily like them. It's not a personal thing per se. It's just what's the link with them. And I think that's why a lot of women of color specifically might have, Kardashians might get blowback from them because of what's the link with them. So, you have women. They used to have big butts. Used to be like, girl, you fat, or you this, or that's not attractive, or the full lips used to be made fun of. You got the caricatures back in slavery days and all this. But now the Kylie gets full lips. It's fashionable. Or Kim get her ass done, and it's like, now a big ass is in
and
style.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like they can take anything that is not in and make it. Right. Because they have that power in society now. Like, their influence level is so high that it's like you have no excuse. You could have took that, made it a situation to benefit you and benefit other women, and you could have shut it down, and it would have been like people would have loved that. Everyone was making fun of you for trying to take it down and then going on social media when you could have just said yes.
Right. I think you're right. I think they're so big.
You have no excuse.
Like they don't have to play by the rules anymore.
They don't.
Like they put in the
It's
time.
a lot of people. I mean, when you look at big celebrities like Beyonce, Rihanna, the Kardashians, like they're people that they don't, Kanye West, you know, like these are people that don't, Jay-Z, these are people that don't have to play by the rules anymore.
Right.
They could literally do the most outrageous things. It's not going to affect their pockets tomorrow.
Not at all.
Because their influence level is so high. Their investments are so many different places. The Kardashians have makeup, skincare, clothing. She's coming out with a bikini line, one of them, you know. Beyonce, like Rihanna, they have makeup, clothes, they have everything. Like they've put themselves in so many places. Their influence level is so high. They don't have an excuse.
Speaking of Rihanna, what she's been able to do is in a short amount of time, she in a couple of years is totally wiped out Victoria's Secret. Not the company, but the show.
Yeah.
The fashion show. And
the company, please. Let's get the facts right.
Yeah, it's like, and she did it by not playing.
Victoria's Secret's gonna look at this and be like, "We're never hiring her." You're like, "Oh shit." Rihanna, come save me, girl. I had your back when nobody had yours.
Yeah, go get that Fenty bag. You know what I mean?
But yeah,
she did it. She did that by not following the rules and being very inclusive with her models.
I don't know if you've seen the show Money Heist, but
yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, they talk about how people are always gonna root for the underdog.
Yeah,
it's so true.
Yeah,
when you look at what Rihanna has done, I was talking about this. I talk about this so often because Rihanna and what she did with Savage Fenty is like the biggest. Oh, she's amazing. It has been statistically proven over and over that people are more likely to buy something if they feel represented, right? When you look at those shows, it's like they have all kinds of people in them, and they're so huge. They're not even like fashion shows; they're like huge concerts. It's like it's like a home movie.
Yeah.
And we had to bully the shit out of Victoria's Secret into adding plus size models to their.
They just stopped doing the show.
They didn't. They just stopped doing the show. You know what I mean? They would rather stop doing the show than add a big girl to it.
Right.
Why? Their show was their whole thing. It was really everyone every year was like, oh my God, the Victoria's Secret show. It was like the fucking Miss Universe. You know what I mean? Like, it was so big. And then, like, on their pages now, they have added like a couple plus size girls. They have like plus size mannequins. But now it's like, it's too late. Like, we don't care for it anymore.
Because now it just seems reactionary.
Yeah, like now it's like we literally bullied you into it. Like, we forced you to do that. Your company was literally plummeting because you didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, Rihanna is like the complete opposite. She was like, I want everybody in this bitch. Yeah. She got tall girls, short girls. She had like little people. She had fat, skinny, disabled, in wheelchairs with prosthetic legs, pregnant women, transgender women, like. And then we were talking about how they had men. They have plus size men. I have never seen a lingerie or underwear company ever add a plus size man.
Yep.
Because we center the conversation around women so often because it is a big deal. But for some reason, it always gets lost in there somewhere that, like, men, they're affected by this too.
Yeah.
And Rihanna is, like, not leaving anyone behind. People love it. That's why she's so successful.
Right.
That's why everyone wants to support her. Because everyone feels like, damn, Rihanna cares about people like me.
Right.
She's like selling more than just clothes. It's like a dream to people that have never felt represented before. All of a sudden it's like, oh my God, That could be me. That's me right there.
And I'm sure some people are watching this and are like, well, you shouldn't base how you feel about yourself off of, somebody else, which is true, but um, symbols are very important.
Yeah.
Like Barack Obama, being just the symbol. He didn't have to do anything else. Just him holding that office to a black child. For all children of all races. Like, think about this. Like, my younger siblings, that was the only president they knew for a while. You know what I mean? And so to have that symbolism, for you have to see something. You know what I mean? Most people have to see something. You know what I mean? So to see symbolism, like I was saying, symbolism is very important. So if you have somebody who has this cultural clout, right, who has this influence like Rihanna, right, and she's up there and she's putting people that look every kind of way in this, or you see somebody like Lizzo, who is not supposed to be, quote unquote, confident in herself,
right?
People will look at Lizzo and be like, oh, she's just doing too much, but you have to realize she's doing, quote unquote, too much because she's trying to send a message.
She's doing too much for you. To you.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because that's
to you. Because we don't care. To you.
Yeah.
Like, we love it.
Yeah.
To you.
So, but it will do leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Leaps and bounds for plus size girls to look at Lizzo and see how comfortable she is in her own skin and allow them to flourish. And I truly believe in symbols. Even though, yes, you should not base your self-worth, from other people. But for you to look at somebody that looks like you, that's shaped like you, and see that they have this confidence, it could do a lot for people. Not just kids, though, for adults also.
I think it's easier. I was about to just talk about like kids and stuff. I think it's easier for us to say something like that when we're a little bit more older and mature. Like, oh, you shouldn't base yourself off of other people and how you feel about yourself with other people. That's literally the only place that kids can find a personality through is other people, because as they're growing, like, of course they're like finding themselves and stuff, but it's like, how do you really find yourself? It's through other artists, through other, singers, rappers, musicians,
it's a lot
people
of
a lot of influences. Like, that's how you become who you are, through all these influences. So it's like, there was in the Olympics now, a girl from Ecuador. She was like the first female from Ecuador to win like a gold medal or something, and she was a weightlifter. And I'm sorry if that's not the correct term. And she has curly hair. She's black. She has curly hair. And some lady posted about it on her Instagram that her niece was watching with her. They're both black as well. And she was like, oh my God, I'm literally crying. My niece just told me that the girl that just won the gold medal has hair just like her. And I was like, oh, that is so cute. You know what I mean? Like,
symbolism.
Representation. Like,
man.
That little girl might have never looked at that and said, like, I could be in the Olympics. But she saw somebody that looked like her and she was like, oh, maybe I could be in the Olympics,
Right.
That's how dreams start. That's how little things become like these big things. Like, it's just by having these symbols there.
Right. That's literally where it comes from.
You can't say like it, you can't say that it doesn't matter, or a lot of people will say like, oh, well, like the whole Chloe thing, like it's a business, whatever. Like I said, she has no excuse. And businesses nowadays, like, it's 2021. We talk so much about this whole body positivity thing, and it's such a big thing now that, brands are starting to include everybody. And of course, as a model and a creative, I respect when people want a certain look for their brands. I'm never going to be like, oh, you need to have people this size. Like, no, like, it's always up to the person, the creative who's creating their art, how they want that to be represented. But it's so clear that in this day and age, like, everyone's being included, little by little. We have a long way to go, but it's like we're making progress there. And brands, not only do they want people who look good, but they want people who are genuine. They want brands, like influencers nowadays, they're not as much as like, oh, I'll send you money for you to talk about my product. nowadays they'll be like, oh, I want to try the product first and make sure that I like it before, they want people that are real.
Right.
They're actually using what they are promoting,
Mm-hmm.
that they love what they're doing. You want to have people working for you that love themselves. They love what they're doing. They love being here. Not people that are feeling like they have to, that like this pressure to be somebody all the time because of your brand. Like,
Right.
that's not how you should feel when you're working with a company.
So, as somebody who is very immersed in this world of standards and expectations and all this, because for a normal girl, you know, they will be affected by it,
Yeah.
but it probably won't have the same type of effect that it would on you,
Yeah.
because so much of your livelihood, your opportunities, comes from um, the standard, right?
Right.
So, as somebody who is very much in that world, how do you deal with it?
I always tell people, the industry is constantly changing. Like, you
Mhm.
have to, as a model, if you can't change with it and go with, if you're not versatile and you can't have a different look today and different look tomorrow, like, my look is always the same. Like, I never cut my hair, but people always find a way to style it the way that it needs to be styled, and we can
Mhm.
always find a way to make me. I'm like, I think of it of like a perfect mannequin. Like, they can just put you in something and it'll, like, you can rock it out. It's always a question of attitude. It's
Right.
always a matter of attitude. Like, if you can see a piece of clothing and you can put it on and you can take the personality that those clothes have, then it's like you can rock anything. Personally, as far as like the body image and all that stuff, it's hard, to be honest,
Mhm.
because especially for me, like, I am by definition, I'm a curve model, petite. I'm 5'6", which is technically like right in the middle. Because models would start at like 5'8".
Mhm.
And then I'm curvy, so a lot of times for jobs, it's like you're right in the middle. So it's like you're too big for some things, but you're too small for the others. Like, you're not plus size, but you're also not like a size 0.
Right.
So where are we gonna fit you in?
Mhm.
I think when you're a model, you have to just kind of let go of that stuff, even though it's really hard because it's gonna affect you all the time. It's just a matter of making sure that your image is representative of you. You know what I'm saying? Of you, what you want to show people, what you want to present yourself as, making sure that you're happy with your image, and then the brands and the gigs will come.
Right.
When you're always aiming to please somebody, it's like it's just so tiring. And I've been there. And being a model, it's you your whole job is literally based off of how you look. Like, you can walk in a room if you're in a casting and they'll be like, nope, don't like it, bye. And we're like, okay, thank you for your time. Like,
Yeah.
they could literally just. I've been doing a castings where I'm walking, I'll go to the front. The guy's like, I like her body, and the lady next to him was like, I don't, and I was like, okay, like,
Yeah.
thank you. Y'all have a great day. Like,
Yeah.
you have to have thick skin. You
Mhm.
gotta have really thick skin. I
And
tell
how,
people,
and did you always have that thick skin, or was it something you
no.
developed? And how did you develop it?
So it came over time,
Mhm.
honestly. Like, when I started modeling, the littlest nose were like the end of the world to me, because that's really how it feels. It's like, oh my God, like, if they told me no here, and they're not gonna say yes anywhere else. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, but I dealt with it by realizing, first of all, that every brand, every designer, every production is always looking for something different. No one's ever looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
There are very successful models who like have built, names for themselves, being short, being skinny, being big, being whatever, like, because everyone's always looking for something different.
Mhm.
Like, no production is ever the same, and they're never looking for the same thing. It could be the same production 2 years in a row, but they'll have different designers. It's still different. You know what I mean? So you can never take it personal.
Yeah.
You can never sit here and take it personal, like, oh, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? You're just not what they were looking for. And you have to just take that with a grain of salt and go. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many things. And then it comes from a place of self love. Like, you
Mhm.
start understanding that better and being okay with it when when you really start loving yourself and caring about yourself more than that. Like, oh, it's cool, you know. I know something wrong with me
Hmm.
because it's not easy to say that unless you have that confidence and that self love.
Right.
It's not easy for people to be able to say like, oh, it's just I'm just not what they were looking for.
Right.
And it can be discouraging. Like I'm telling you, when I went to Miami Swim Week, like I think it was like a month or two ago, it was so discouraging sometimes because I'm going to these castings. I'm standing next to girls who were 6 feet and a size 0. And ever since I started modeling, I always heard, you know, oh, Miami would be perfect for you. You have the perfect body for Miami. I do. But when I got to the castings, there are girls that flew in from New York, baby, to be there. Girls that flew in from LA, from Chicago, from Atlanta, from you name it, to be there. Oh, I felt so little. I'm
Yeah.
standing there. I'm like, oh my God, I am tiny. These girls all have like a 6 pack. I was like, woo. I went to like 5 or 6 different castings and I made it into like 2 different productions. And they were like big productions. Um, but even then, like people look at you differently because you don't really belong, you know? And so it was I got called the plus size model a couple times. I was like, I wear like a small, maybe a medium.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got that from. Um, but it was like that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta have thick skin. Like if they looked at me and they were like, "Oh yeah, she's plus size," I'm like, "Baby, I wear like a 2. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? I wear the same size as all your other models. I'm just little, right?" And it was a point in time where this lady was like, "Oh, I need plus size models," right? And so the production went in and they got me and this other girl, Gina Turner, by the way. She was an America's Next Top Model. She's a
Okay.
beautiful girl. She has alopecia, and that's like her whole thing. She's
Hmm.
fabulous. So she goes and she grabs us and brings us to the lady. The lady's like, "What is this?" She was like, "Those girls wear at most a medium." She was like, "Do you see me?" She's big. She's like, "I'm a big bitch. I need a big bitch that looks like me." She was like, "I need a big bitch that looks like me." Because she was like, really? That's offensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking for somebody to represent my brand, and you're bringing me these little girls
Yeah.
that I didn't ask for. And I was just kind of like, "Oh, hello. Sorry." You know, too
Yeah.
little for one thing, too big for the other.
Right.
But then you kind of just, you're just grateful to be there. At first, whenever I knew that I had made it in the show, me and a couple other girls were like the smallest ones there. We started calling ourselves the castaways and just making like jokes about it and stuff. But at first I was like, damn, like I'm so little.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna look good next to them. Like, they're so tall. Like that's what these brands are looking for. That's what these productions are looking for.
Hmm.
It discouraged me because I had always imagined Miami to be like the place for the curvy girls, and even then, it really wasn't
Yeah.
with certain productions because they were like New York based, and so um, I was there, and then as time went on, I was just kind of like I took that insecurity and that like discouragement and turned it into like my swag.
Yeah.
I literally would show up and I'm like, yep, I'm the 5'6" girl. What's up? Yep, I'm the little one. Yeah, that's me. I'm the curvy one.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's me. And the brands that I was working for, they loved me.
Hmm.
The brands that I was modeling for, ooh, they absolutely loved me because I was giving them something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I told my friends, I was like, you know what? If somebody came here in the audience looking for a tall girl, the tall girls have a 1% chance. If they came here looking for a curvy girl or somebody short, somebody different, we have about a 90% chance. So let's just go out there, do the best that we can, be
Hmm.
confident. I just turned that into my whole swag. And it's like, that's what I tell people. It's like, whatever you're insecure about, you just got to make that your thing.
Yeah.
You just got to make that your swag. You
Gotta
got to
channel
take
that
it. You
energy
got
to
to
something
own
else.
it. And like going back to the Kardashian thing, I'm never against like plastic surgery or whatever. Like I'm the type of person that's like whatever makes you happy, do that. Like
Hmm.
if you wanna fix your teeth, if you wanna fix your lips, if you wanna fix your body, if that's what makes you happy, do it. Be happy with yourself.
Hmm.
Do whatever you want. But I'm also the type of person that's like I'm all body positivity. You know what I mean? Like whether that's fake, real, done, whatever. Like love you as long as you love yourself and you're not hurting anybody,
Hmm.
you being a good person, that's enough for me.
What do you think the beauty industry can do to be more inclusive to help people um kind of not feel self-conscious, because if you look at companies like Instagram, who was, tinkering with, taking away the likes,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. And you see some companies making an effort. What do you think that the beauty industry, social media, can do or should do to fix these problems?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really don't think that it's the platform's responsibility
Mm-hmm.
because we're the ones who make the use of it
Yep.
and kind of twist it and turn it into this thing that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram was never created for what it's doing now.
No, it
Instagram
wasn't.
was a photo sharing app where
Mm-hmm.
you just share, cute little pictures, moments of your life. I remember when I first opened Instagram, people would share like inspirational quotes, little things, like
It definitely wasn't as curated as it is
right.
now.
Now
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
Now it's a place to sell something.
Right.
And the biggest proof of that is the fact that they replaced the notification tab with a shopping tab.
Yep.
It's a place to sell things.
Yeah.
It's
Like
not
going
their,
back to Kardashians,
yeah,
Kim has said she's gotten paid like $1 million for a post.
yeah. Oh, and that's like on the lower end. That's like
Right.
lowballing them.
Exactly.
Like they get paid so much money to post.
Yeah.
I'll get paid money. I'll get paid to post.
Right.
So, and I have like 6,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
People still pay me to post.
Yeah.
There's still smaller influencers that get paid to post, right?
For sure.
So, I think that Instagram doing the like thing, like, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was gonna affect anybody that much because, yeah, we're looking at the likes when we're creative
Mm-hmm.
mostly. I don't really think that a lot of people who aren't within that world are really looking at likes that much.
Right.
But you can take away the likes, but you can't take away the fake bodies. You can't take away the fake teeth. You can't take away the filters. You can't take away the vacations, the luxury, the money. You can't take away what other people have.
Right.
You're not gonna be happy till you're happy with what you got. And if you're aiming to have more, great, keep doing that. But if you're looking at other people and you're bitter that other people have something,
Mhm.
you're taking away the likes is not gonna fix that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not.
true.
There are ways, that campaigns within the beauty industry and stuff have done to be more inclusive and making sure that everybody's included. Like within the beauty industry, especially like a lot of makeup artists, like,
Mhm.
including men in their campaigns and making sure, makeup's for everybody. And the whole, with clothes, like the body positivity movement, like these are the kind of things
Mhm.
that actually make a difference. Those are the kind of things that actually create change. Like when you go to Target, you don't see no perfect bodies on the Target ads anymore.
Right.
They stopped doing that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Target's a family place. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to take their children to a place where you literally see these perfect women. Oh, and now my child's insecure because she's never gonna look like that. You know what I mean? Like I think those are the kind of things that they can do to help, because it's like really the problem is like within society. A lot of times we bring it up on us ourselves.
Right.
But companies can do what they can to help, and they're doing it in that way. Making sure people are included, being inclusive, being, adding all these different little things for people, like all these little campaigns. They're always doing little campaigns where they have like little micro influencers because that's really a lot of people don't know, but that's where a lot of the money is. Because when you have a huge following, a lot of followers follow you just to watch you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you have a smaller following, your followers are more engaged.
More engaged. Yep.
They keep up more with your stuff. They
Mhm.
are looking at what you're doing. Started working with a brand recently, and she was like, yeah, if people buy these earrings like with your these actually, she was like, if people buy these earrings like with your link or whatever, like, or with your code, like you'll get a percentage. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know what? Let me add the code on there. My followers might want to buy the earrings. They're super cute. So I was like, put the code on there, and she texted me like the next day and she was like, oh, hey, what's your Venmo? I got to send you the money. Somebody bought the earrings. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't even know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like people are actually looking at that stuff. And that's where the money's at because people connect with real people.
You should go ahead and plug that right now so you can get some more money.
I'm like, these are from Jagged Halo Jewelry on Instagram, and the code is AV15.
There it is.
But yeah, it's like people want to connect with real people, and those like little influencer campaigns, that's a way that people feel included and they feel connected because the following that, for example, I have on Instagram, like I try to make sure that I'm always like talking on my stories, connecting with them, asking people questions, asking for feedback, stuff like that. it makes them feel included. It makes them feel like they're my
Right.
friends, like they're a part of my family. Like,
Yep.
and so just little things like that. But I really don't think that there's anything really that the social media platforms can do because
I guess the question should have been, what can we do? Because
yeah,
the beauty, one of the good things about social media is that we can now kind of dictate, what we see, or
mhm,
we can kind of, people call it bully, but I think the right word is hold accountable
yes,
these companies, who are doing, scandalous stuff, so, and we have a voice, everybody has a voice now, so we can kind of pressure these
yeah,
companies like, hey, you need to have some people, a
yeah.
more variety now,
And
and
we are,
we are.
like we did with Victoria's Secret.
Yep.
And then it happens with a lot of companies in the beauty industry too. Like
Hmm.
they'll sell you a foundation wearing a filter, and it's like, be like, oh, this beautiful airbrush foundation that works wonders, and it's like you have a filter on. I don't know what the foundation looks like.
Right.
People calling out those things nowadays, holding these companies accountable.
Hmm.
Showing like we're not stupid. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just sell us a real product. Don't do that.
That's why representation within the company is so important,
Hmm.
because you know that's one of the reasons that the Fenty makeup took off, is because finally there is some makeup that could go on darker skinned people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, so if you have representation within your company,
Yeah.
instead of, you see a lot of these companies putting out these just stupid tweets, for lack of a
Hmm.
better word. But if they have somebody black in that room, or Hispanic in that room, or Asian in that room, they can say, hey, that you probably shouldn't tweet that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. It's
just
like
having
so
these,
many people
yeah,
have to look at this and approve it.
right.
Like, where did y'all go wrong?
Exactly. Like,
Like,
what's going on? So, yeah, I think representation is very important.
yeah,
And I do see, some promise.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I see things going in a different direction. So that's a good
yeah.
thing.
As far as like what we can do, honestly, I've told you before, I'm the type of person that I'm just kind of like live and let people live.
Right.
And if you see something on social media, you don't agree with it, you don't like it, unfollow. Leave it
Yeah.
alone. If it's making you bitter, if it's causing all these negative energies within
Hmm.
you, like let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like you're surrounding yourself with all this negativity and that's the only thing you're going to attract.
Right.
So, and then, just being real.
Hmm.
It it is free to be real.
Yes.
Okay?
Free 99.
When I teach, there people always ask me like kind of question like, "Oh, well, what can we do?" I'm like, "I don't know what we can do, but I know what I can do."
Right.
And when I teach my girls and my pageant classes and my runway class and all this stuff, I do my best to make sure that I teach what I know best, and that's self-love. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like I have more to offer than just showing you how to do a cute walk. So I don't really know
Hmm.
I don't know who we is, I don't know what we can do, but I know
Hmm.
what I can do.
Yeah.
And that's, doing what I can to make sure that I'm teaching something valuable to people,
Right.
especially teenagers and young
Hmm.
girls. Like, because that's where it really all starts. That's where it all stems from. It's like
Yeah.
when I think of back to myself being insecure, it was in my teenage years. Like when I was like, I'm like teenage years, like 3 years ago.
All right.
I'm like, it was when I
You're
was
so
like,
old.
when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
like I was like, that's where a lot of my insecurities came from. I was like, as young as like 12. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like like, what did I have to be insecure about?
Yeah.
I was a child.
Right.
But it's like, just, you have to start with them because really they're the ones that can either take this further
Hmm.
or they can fix it, because
Right.
that's the future right there. Like, they're the ones that's going to suffer this if we keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
they're the ones who are going to live by it, looking at all these things, wanting to be perfect. And a lot of them already are with children being on social media and
Yeah.
children being on TikTok. But it's life. It's like you do what you can and you put your little bit of your 2 little cents there,
Right.
your little bit of change, what you
Lastly, I want
can.
to shout out 2 women that deserve some credit:
Mm,
Alicia Keys and her boycott of makeup,
I love her.
and Monique. Monique was like the first big woman on TV that's like, that was kind of, Lizzo before Lizzo. She was,
Mhm.
big girl this, big girl that, F them skinny bitches,
Yeah.
all that. But I think that people need to realize that the blessing is in the realness.
Mhm.
Because when you are real and authentic, if everybody was like that, then I could look at you and be like, "Oh, you got a pimple too."
Right.
You know what I mean? And it'll just be that.
Right.
And the blessing is in the realness,
Mhm.
transparency, being comfortable in your skin. But we like to live under the curse, which is comparison.
Mhm.
And you have to realize that women, you have to realize that a lot of what you see is not real.
It's fake.
It's not real. So really, you will be judging yourself
I
based off of
promise you
false
it's
reality.
fake.
Men, because men, we have these same issues, not so much in the appearance. We have these issues, especially when it comes to materialism.
Mhm.
And so we see these guys doing this and doing that. A lot of it is not
Real.
real. Like, I know.
Trust me.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And
Working in this industry, I see it a
it's
lot.
not. It's a lot of false flexing.
Mhm.
So, my advice would be is to stay in your lane. Like, do
Be
your thing,
real.
man. Just hey. But if nothing wrong with being motivated by somebody.
Oh,
I see
no.
people on social media all the time. I'm motivated, and I just kind of put them on my list. Like, I'm coming to get
Yeah.
you. Like, I use it for motivation. Like, I'm all right. I'm coming to get you. Like, all right, you did this. My cousin's husband has a podcast, doing really good. He just got a sponsorship deal with Grey Goose. Podcast, like I said, really taking off. No hate. One, it's
Right.
family, but it's no hate. It's no
Right.
jealousy. It's motivation.
Be
All right.
inspired by other people.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I need to hit you up, see what you're doing.
If you
know
walk
what I
into
mean?
a room of powerful women or powerful men and you feel intimidated, you
Yeah.
need to look at yourself
Mm-hmm.
and
You need to be
just-
asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to look within.
Right.
Because
Mhm.
you're in a place where it can just take you up, like it can elevate you.
Right.
But instead you're sitting here like
Yeah.
hating or
Or
being
like-
bitter or whatever.
Yeah, trying to make excuses as
right.
to
why you can't.
Listen, we're getting
do
off
it.
little
right.
off topic, but especially when the whole Illuminati stuff was going on,
I am
that
dead.
and all that. It's like people would go so far out of their way to make excuses on why people are
Mhm.
successful and they're not.
It's like
Learn from them.
mhm.
That's how I look
Take
at
some
it.
notes.
Yes, that's
Ask
what you
some
need
questions.
to be doing. Yes, use it for motivation. When my cousin's husband signed the Grey Goose deal, I messaged him. I was like, "Congratulations, bro!" And I said, "I'm coming for you." This is
Mhm.
motivation. Like
Right.
it's competition. Like let's go.
Healthy
you know what I mean?
competition,
Healthy competition.
is never bad.
Yes. So remember, guys, do not stop comparing yourself to false realities. There's nothing wrong with being motivated, using people for motivation, but don't compare yourself to. Be very comfortable in who you are already and walk in your, because God designed each one of us specifically,
Amen.
specifically how we are supposed to be. We're all different. We
Mhm.
all have something to bring to the table. So just
Everybody has a different purpose in
yes,
this life
yes.
too.
Be
like,
confident in your gifts. Be confident in
you
how
shouldn't
you look.
want what's for someone else because
Yes.
what's for someone else is not for you,
A lot of
and
people,
what's for you is not for them.
a lot of people have what they call curb appeal, and what that is you'll drive by a house.
Mm-hmm.
It looks amazing from the outside. When you're on the curb, it looks amazing. Like, damn, this is a great house. But you open the door and they got plumbing problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's dusty. They got
It's
cracks in the wall.
dusty.
They got cracks in the wall, and that's what a lot of
There's
these
roaches crawling around in
and that's what a lot of these people are on social media. Is
that's
that
true.
they're posting the curb appeal,
Yeah, it
but
looks
not
really
telling
pretty on the
you-
outside.
but not telling you the real.
Yeah.
And let me plug this book in before we get out of here. It's called The Authenticity Project. It's really good, and it kind of goes to what we're talking about today, about kind of exposing parts of yourself that you would normally share, and just being completely transparent. So The Authenticity Project will probably be my next book club choice, actually. But yeah, go get that book. So Yeah. Any last words?
No, just
Mm-hmm.
be real, love yourself, take care of yourself, cleanse your energy, eat healthy,
Mm-hmm.
read a book,
Yeah.
get some sleep,
Yeah.
drink some water. That's it.
Yes. And guys, remember, the blessing is in the realness. And we're out.
Peace.